Sun's out! Hello, I'm Jeff, welcome to Brynwood Farm. And the sun is shining, it is spring! We've had a lot of trauma over the past few weeks with lambing and farrowing, but it's all come good. These two absolute stonkers are Susans. This is Lola, this is Missy. And considering I thought both of them might well die, they have done amazingly well. As has Susan. Come on, Susie. Come on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Did you see that? Did you see how she got up on her own? You're a superstar. Yes, you are. It's safe to say it has not been the easiest lambing in the world, and it's been very depressing at times. But Susan and her babies have really helped bring some positivity back. I've also got a nice little bundle of lambs over here, which is very nice to see. I did lose quite a few Jacob lambs, and also Tracy's lamb, and one of the Norfolks. Now, it sounds ridiculously high, and it is, and it's been really, really depressing. Early on, a lot of the Jacob lambs were just not right, and actually the mums weren't right. They're quite old mums. They were in poor condition. I couldn't keep weight on them. They weren't bagging up properly. And finally, after a load of tests and working out and writing lists and crossing things off the list, we've discovered basically we have a massive selenium and B12 issue, or lack of issue, in the soil here. So I'm now going to have to dose everybody. I've got a liquid drench, I'm dosing everybody every month, and I'm probably going to have to give a bolus because every single condition that I've been competing with here on the farm, lackluster lambs, having difficulty keeping condition on ewes despite feeding them like loads of grass and loads of nuts, poor condition of some fleece, poor quality of mothering, poor quality or low milk yield, sick lambs, lambs that don't grow very quickly. All of that comes down to this B12 and selenium deficiency. So I'm hoping now I can cure it. Now, obviously, at the start of lambing, I did not know this, so I lost some lambs early on. I also do have a fairly sickly Norfolk horn lamb, but she's still got some get up and go, so I'm substituting her with a bottle. And there was one that, for no reason at all, I just came in, she was really weak, I took her home, gave her a full belly, put her under heat lamp, totally fine. Next day, totally fine, brought her back to the farm, put her with her mum, dead. Sometimes you just can't win. Meanwhile, I still have 3 to go. This is Coco. She's due fairly soon. She had a prolapse and she has had her harness on, but I've taken it off at the moment just to see whether we get a repeat prolapse, because the harness that I'm using, she cannot lamb through. So I'm trying to get it to a point where she can be safe, she won't have a prolapse, but also I don't need to watch her every second of the day. Beatrice is starting to bag up a tiny amount. Ophelia, although she was tupped, I don't think she's pregnant. I think she must have lost it or it didn't take. So I think I've only got 2 more to go. As for farrowing, things have calmed down there too. You will know that Hyacinth was super poorly, and I had to get the vet in to help deliver the babies. She still didn't eat for a week. Her milk then dried up because of that, so I had to substitute the piglets with goat's milk. And then she started to drink the goat's milk, and then her milk came back in. So we actually have a positive end to what was a very stressful farrowing. So here is Margaret. You can see the amount of rain we've had because of the horrendous mud. But Margaret had 8 piglets, and they're all doing fab. We haven't lost a single one. They're out here in the sunshine. Hello, little piglets. Aren't you cute? and they are pretty much one of the most fabulous things I've ever seen. Look at them. I found the piglets when they were first born quite ugly. They seem to have huge eyes, long noses and skin that's way too big for them. But now, much better, they've grown into themselves. So that's Margaret with her 8, and then we have Hyacinth, who you can see is much leaner because she hasn't eaten as much. And one of her piglets, she has 6. Careful. Quite honestly, I could waste the entire day watching piglets because they are so adorable. Behind me I am planting some sugar snap peas, the first of the season. And my granddad used to leave things like this all over the farm, and I ferreted this out from a hedgerow somewhere. And it's missing a wheel over there, but it's perfect for growing these little pea plants up. And I think actually it will look lovely when it's covered in peas and all these sugar snap pods. Now, is it a little bit early to be planting them out? Yeah, maybe, because we might have a frost. We have had a frost since I put the first lot out, which are here. And as you can see, still very healthy little plants. So I am going to take a punt. I'm going to put the rest out onto this side. And then from this packet over here, I will just hold a few back, just as replacements. But these sugar snap peas are going to be a successional crop throughout the year, so I'll constantly be sowing them. So we should have plenty to keep us going. And then up here is where I've got my broad beans. Now, I wouldn't normally have to water them in, but I've transferred them from the polytunnel to this place, and it hasn't rained in a couple of days. So these fresher ones that I've just put in, as you can see, they're slightly smaller plants. They've got a smaller root system. They had dried out a little bit, but the ones behind them are coming up fine and doing really well actually since being out. And I did try to direct sow, and there are a very few coming up, but like this, things come along and bite the tops off. So we have several coming out, and then the next day I'll come along and something's just nibbled the top off. Hence why the majority of my stuff has to be done in the polytunnel first. Although saying that, while I don't forget, radishes! My first rows of radishes are now starting to poke through. The season's really kicking off. After March, these few days of sunny weather have just been sublime, and they have made spring really come into fruition. The trees are bursting with life. Blackthorn is out. I did the March wildlife survey a couple of days ago, the very end of March, and it was a warm day, and there were loads of queen bumblebees out searching for a new place to nest. And if you're a Patreon, that's coming. I just haven't had a chance to write up the report, but I will write up the report and I'll get it out to you on Patreon so you can see all the latest findings. And there were some nice findings actually, and it's been interesting to see the progression. In February, for example, the rooks were nesting. In March, the rooks had eggs, and at the end of March, you could hear babies. There's more what bird life around. There's more deer. So that will all be on Patreon, and if you want to be a patron, then you can sign up for as little as $2 a month. And if you're enjoying the video, you can also buy a virtual coffee, and the link is in the description below, and that just helps support the farm and the conservation and everything we're doing here. I'm just going down to the bird feeder once again because the birds are now discovering where that bird hide is in the bird feeder. And you can see here, this is our jackdaw nest box, and the jackdaws actually aren't in there at the moment, but they were both in there this morning, and I think they're getting very close to starting to lay. And we've also had some nice birds on the bird feeder, mostly great tits and blue tits. But there's also this woodpecker that has been visiting, and then quite a few pheasants come around and have a little dibble underneath where there's some spilt seed, and it's just really nice watching it. And they're becoming more used to my presence, which in turn means we can actually start to use the bird hide, get some good photos. Obviously, I understand people don't want to rent bird hide and just get pictures of blue tits, so we do need to try and draw in some wider and more diverse variety of birds. But that's the whole point. Slowly, slowly, it will come. Hello, Jock. You okay? Hello. Ah. You got a nice stick. Thanks. Tell me you've got goats without telling me you've got goats. This is the goat browse line. Philip. Bye, Philip. Philip's getting tamer and tamer and comes across for the grain. Naughty Philip.